welcome to Mark Meets, ladies. First of all, Clare, I want to direct this to you. What did you want the people to come away with after watching the documentary film? What was the main objective for you?
Well, I didn't really have an objective about what the audience would feel, because everybody's going to come away from the film with a different view. I mean, there'll be people who still think he should never have refused the draft. There'll be people that, you know, have always been boxing fans. But if they could come away with anything, I'd like them to come away with the fact he really did sort of walk the walk. You know, he stood up for what he believed in. I knew that on paper, but when I got to know him better, it really was incredibly brave, the stance he took, and he was so genuine in that. And so I'd like them to come away with the sense of his spirit and his love of life, his absolute love for people.
And why did you both think now was the best time to show the world, you know, unseen footage or photographs or tape recordings? Why was now the best time to share that?
Well, Claire actually is the one that chose all of the footage and the photographs. We added the recordings. I was saving them for a project I'm working on that really gets more in depth about him as a father. And I met Claire at a time when she was visiting to do our interview, and she was at my father's birthday. So I let her see a clip that I had made for my dad of the tapes after seeing a 60-second clip of what she was doing with the film, and was very impressed with it. So the tapes became a part of the film very late in the game. She was working on this way before she ever met us. And she's such a sweet, kind, loving, gentle person, and she had so much talent, and I was very comfortable with her. So it made me comfortable to let her see that you eventually use the recordings.
Yes,
yeah.
of course.
I think the timing of the film is great, because everything's been basically done about him. They've been focused on the Vietnam War, the draft, focused on the sports, and now the father, you know, was added to it. And I just think she did a great job of showing a comprehensive view of his personality. So I think the timing for this is really right. It's like a culmination of everything that's been done.
Claire, back to you again. You're well known for producing other, you know, major documentaries for other icons such as Audrey Hepburn, etc. Why Muhammad Ali?
Because I made a series for the BBC called My Best Friend about these icons. I mean, it was Che Guevara, Audrey Hepburn, Mick Jagger, Steve McQueen, and Muhammad Ali. But the one that really stuck out for me, Muhammad Ali, he's just got everything about him. He's beautiful to start with. I mean, you know, I shouldn't just say I'm picking something who's beautiful, but he's got so many elements of his character. He's a fantastic athlete, and he's funny, and he's cheeky, and he's just, to me, he's got so many things that he just really interests me. And so when the opportunity came up to make it, I mean, I couldn't have had a better subject.
And having listened to the recordings over time, did you know any of the stories growing up, like any of the stories from the recordings? Were you aware of these things when you were growing up?
My dad made this set of recordings when he was married to my mother, Veronica, and they span about a 5-year period. Right. So the majority of them are him just being a father, and there's other stuff going on, him talking to different people, you know, on the telephone and stuff. And I don't remember what was going on around me outside of him just playing with us and recording us. So it was such a gift to now, when he gave them to me, listen to them and to be able to hear what he was going through in his life, you know, trying to determine whether he's going to come back and fight again, his worries, his concerns, his plans, and trying to free hostages in Iran, and talking to different celebrities, and, you know, my mother and my grandparents, and hearing my, you know, I was too young to remember my father's parents. May grew up knowing Mama Bird and Papa Cash. I only have little memories of them. So hearing their voices and hearing their relationship, my dad's relationship with his parents, and laughing and talking and reminiscing on the telephone was like an amazing gift. Yeah. So
Being the eldest, I remember almost everything. I remember when I heard the recordings for the first time, it was clear as day. I remember the conversations, because we lived in Chicago, and he would call me up and check on me. I was like, I remember that conversation, you know, because I was 11. So I remember pretty much everything.
Incredibly I mean, I would be hopeless on the phone. But that age, my God, you're so composed. You're
we were a very serious kid.
Very clever kid.
Yeah, you should have heard him in one particular part where he's asking her what she thought about the hostages in Iran, if they should let their what do you think they should do with the
film, though? This is
and he's, you know, he's preparing to go over and speak to Khomeini and try to prepare his speech to free the hostages, and he runs by May what she thinks. What do you think should be said? I think. Let me tell you what I think. And he's really listening to her.
So how difficult or not was it, Claire, for you to produce this piece? Because, you know, there's been so many films, other documentaries, books, etc., based on his life. Yeah, so how easy or not was it for you to produce this?
Well, I mean, everybody kept telling me, oh my God, there's so many films, so many books, how are you going to make these different? I mean, I have to say, every single person, even these black cab drivers I get lift, they say, why have you got so many books? What are you doing? Why have you got so many tapes in the car or anything?
Yes.
And then I say, I'm making this documentary. They say, oh my God, how are you going to make that different? But I didn't even think about it, rather naively. I just thought, well, the editor and I, we just sit, we go through some archive and we do our own little thing, and maybe whatever pops out, might be okay. And so for me, it wasn't a stress. I just got on with it, really.
So there was no pressure, was there, in producing this film? Do you think?
I didn't feel pressure. It was just hard to let go of the recordings because I've had them for so long. My dad gave them to me when I was 27, and I have this project I'm working on. It's a book, but it's different from actually seeing it on the screen. I have my own idea for a documentary. So that was one of the reasons why I wasn't letting it go. But then I just got more comfortable with Claire the more I hung out with her and saw her. She did like 3 different interviews, and I liked her personality, and I kept seeing the little clips of her footage, and it was just so beautiful. And I didn't think that anyone could make it as loving and sweet as the approach that we would take as a family and doing it ourselves. And I was just impressed with it, with what she was doing already. Okay. So yeah.
And your take as well?
I had no pressure. She's the one that made the movie. I just sat back and enjoyed the ride.
She was so worried about how we were going to perceive
I have
it.
To say,
she was calling on.
The pressure hit me when we went to. I had to show it to the family at Universal Studios.
Oh, so funny.
And I honestly thought I was going to have a heart attack. My heart was doing that, I sat between you and your mum, Veronica. And when the thing started and the Universal logo came up, you went wee.
The first minute of the movie, I was like, this is
oh my God, and you kept grabbing Mum, saying, this is going to win an Oscar, this is going to win an Oscar.
Yeah.
And then
I told her you're going to win an Oscar.
You were up and down.
My maid was like, stop, you're going to jinx it. And I was like, she's going to win an Oscar.
And it's just, that's when I felt the pressure. But then the family's reaction has made absolutely everything worthwhile, because you loved it all, didn't you? And I just thought,
I loved it.
She cried all the way through it.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, I heard her on the front.
full eyelashes
crying. Yeah.
memories. I mean, it took me. I watched it 3 times. After the 3rd time, I stopped crying. But I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for talking with MarkMeets Entertainment. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. My pleasure.